You know I gotta watch my little one too.
On March 27, 2023, a quiet evening in Little Rock, Arkansas turned deadly.
Damn,
At 4 p.m., police
deadly
rushed
is
to
crazy. Every time I hear
4074
deadly,
Fairley
I
Drive
get the
following
chills.
reports of gunshots. Inside, they found 36-year-old Edwina Martin Brown fighting for her life. Multiple gunshot wounds marked her body as paramedics raced against time to save her. Despite their efforts at the University of Arkansas Medical Science Center, Edwina's story came to a violent end. Her death sent ripples through the Little Rock community, where she was known for her genuine smile,
appreciate
her
you.
successful clothing boutique, Bodacious Beauty,
Appreciate
and her
it, brother.
dedication as a dance coach. But as news of her murder spread, whispers began
Thank you,
about
man.
her
Jesus
husband,
love you too,
Danny
man.
Maurice
Jesus love
Brown
us all.
Jr. Those who knew their history understood this wasn't just another
Man,
domestic tragedy.
Right now I'm
It was the
streaming on
final
Kick. If you
chapter
ever
in
been
a
on
story that began 11
Kick,
years
check out my
earlier.
stream on Kick, y'all.
January 2012 marked the first time
Ethan
Danny Brown
J.
Jr. tried to end Edwina's life. Back then, she was 25 and dating Daniel Hill, a 22-year-old who made her smile again after leaving Brown.
Love, man, love.
One
Appreciate
evening,
the
as
gifts,
Edwina
man,
and
love.
Hill visited her
That's
mother's
love right
Valley
there, I ain't
Crossing
gonna lie.
apartment, gunfire shattered their peace. Two men emerged from the shadows, Ivor Gordon and Quentin Jones. When the echoes of gunshots faded, Hill lay dead, and Edwina was fighting for her life with a bullet in her chest.
Right now
The
I'm watching the
mastermind
True
behind
Crimes
this
case
attack,
tape.
Danny Brown Jr., her ex-boyfriend and father of her two children. But what happened after this brutal attack defied all logic and set in motion a chain of events that would ultimately lead to that fatal day in March 2023. 2 weeks after surviving the shooting that killed her boyfriend, Edwina made a decision that stunned everyone. She married Danny Brown Jr., the very man accused of plotting her death.
Yo,
The same hands that allegedly hired hitmen to kill her now slipped a wet.
the story that I'm watching right now is with a woman and a man, of course, but it's with a woman that fell in love with the man that killed her boyfriend. And then she married him, and years later, he killed her. Allegedly. I'm not watching this story, but this was what they said that happened. If there ain't no story on this earth that's more diabolical than this is diabolical, man. On both parts. You feel me? On both sides of the fence. It's crazy. It's crazy for her to end up dating the man that killed her boyfriend. That's crazy. To sleep with the same demon that killed her man and then end up reaping what she sowed. Him turning around and killing her as well. What she thought? Tell me what she thought, please. Tell me what she thought.
Wedding ring on her finger. This wasn't just a story of
appreciate my
murder.
boy.
It was a
Hold up, but he
complex
sent me
web
the
of
wrong gift,
love,
but I take
fear, and
Jesus,
control
bro.
that would span over a
Jesus
decade.
love me, man.
The
Thank
charges
you, man.
against Brown
Appreciate
disappeared
you, man.
when Edwina
Whoever
stopped
that was.
cooperating with prosecutors.
Appreciate you.
Their social media painted pictures of happy family moments, while behind closed doors,
I was trying to-
tension built.
I
They
was
shared
trying to,
two children,
reach my
a
goal for
business,
the gift that
and
I put up
11
there,
years of
but
marriage marked
I
by moments
appreciate
of
it.
joy
I ain't gonna
and
lie.
shadows of fear.
I'm not complaining.
No one could have predicted that the man who failed to kill her in 2012 would succeed in 2023. If you're asking yourself how someone could marry the person who tried to kill them, you're not alone. This story
Yeah,
challenges everything we think we know about love, survival, and human nature. Before we delve deeper into Edwina's journey, take a moment
How
to
does it
join our
work? How
true
does that
crime
work?
community.
How did
Hit
that
that
happen? How
subscribe
did that even
button
come
to follow
about?
more compelling
What was she
investigations
thinking,
into cases
bro?
that make us question everything we thought we
Crazy,
knew.
man.
What would you have done in Edwina's situation?
Let's pray.
Share your thoughts in the comments below.
God have mercy.
Hearing
on
different
us all.
perspectives helps us understand these
Pray for the
complex
suspect,
cases
pray for the
better.
victim,
And if you
pray
believe
for the
this
family
story
that got
needs to be
affected in the
heard,
story.
especially by those who might be in similar situations, hit that like button and share this
But I
video.
just don't get
Your
it.
engagement could help someone recognize warning signs in their own life. Born on May 16, 1986, in Little Rock, Arkansas, Edwina Angelica Martin grew up in a home filled with siblings and family connections. As the youngest of 4 children on her maternal side and third of 9 on her paternal side, she learned early to navigate complex family dynamics. Her parents, Edwin Eugene Moore Sr. and Betty Jean Martin, raised her in a household where family bonds ran deep. Tragically, she experienced loss at a young age when her oldest brother, Edwin K. Moore, passed away. Life in Little Rock shaped Edwina's personality and values.
Little Rock, Arkansas, right?
She was part of a close-knit community where church and family gatherings formed the backbone of daily life. The Williams Temple Church of God in Christ became her spiritual anchor, where Bishop Jewel R. Withers Jr.'s teachings influenced her outlook on life. Her extended family included 6 brothers and 5 sisters, creating a support system that would prove crucial in her later years.
Family.
Among them was
siblings.
Carnetta Prayer, a special
10 siblings.
cousin raised as her sister, highlighting the blended nature of her family bonds. These early years instilled in Edwina the importance of faith, family, and community, values that would define her adult life. Edwina's path to success began at McClellan High School in Little Rock, where she graduated in 2004. During these formative years, she wasn't just another student. She showed early signs of entrepreneurial spirit through her involvement in Future Business Leaders of America and DECA Club. Her talent for performance emerged as she danced with the Flagline Dancers, foreshadowing her future role as a dance coach. Following high school, she pursued higher education at the University of Arkansas Pulaski Tech, earning her associate's degree. Her career journey showcased her versatility and determination. Starting as a phlebotomy technician, she mastered the precise art of medical work. But her true passion emerged.
My thing is, she went to school and all, man. She got knowledge and everything. That's why I'm telling you, knowledge is deceitful. School knowledge. I mean, I you know what I'm saying? I should say, school knowledge and shit like that. Going to school and all that. That shit that don't mean nothing. Cause you still end up making crazy decisions and dating the man that killed her man. And probably tried to kill her, because I mean, if that was a man. Let's get to the story.
Emerged when she launched Bodacious Beauty Boutique, her clothing line that quickly gained a loyal following. The boutique became more than a business. It was a platform for her to connect with and uplift other women in her community. In 2020, she took on a new challenge, joining Blue Cross Blue Shield as a customer service representative, where she remained until her final day.
Thanks for calling Duck Butter Communication, where we don't care if you owe us 3 cents, we will cut your phone off. This key.
Her professional life reflected her ability to balance multiple roles while pursuing her dreams, proving that small-town roots couldn't limit her ambitions. As a mother, Edwina poured her heart into raising her 2 children, Danny Maurice Brown III and Danielle Mashal Brown. Her dedication shone brightest when she became the coach of the Bejeweled dance team, where her daughter served as captain. For 4 years, she transformed young dancers into confident performers, celebrating every competition and achievement alongside them. Her commitment went beyond teaching dance steps. She was building self-esteem and leadership skills in each team member. In her community, Edwina was known for more than her roles as a business owner and dance coach. She shared daily devotions through social media, touching lives with messages of faith and hope. Her genuine smile became her trademark, lighting up rooms and social media feeds alike.
And let me just say this. The next time I catch y'all viewing my videos and not liking my videos, we gonna have a problem. I see y'all viewing and not liking.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I feel you on that word.
Do better.
Stop viewing my
At
videos
Williams
and give me a
Temple
like.
Church, she wasn't just
Nah,
a
y'all
member.
cool. I ain't
She was an active participant who brought energy and warmth to every gathering. Whether helping customers find the perfect outfit at her boutique or coaching young dancers, she created connections that lasted. Friends and neighbors often spoke of her willingness to help others, her infectious laugh, and her ability to find joy in life's simple moments. Her impact on Little Rock extended far beyond her immediate family, creating a legacy of kindness and community service. January 2012 began with violence at Valley Crossing Apartments in Little Rock. The winter evening seemed ordinary as 25-year-old Edwina visited her mother's apartment. The clock had barely struck 8 p.m. when 2 men appeared at the residence.
Yo.
What followed would alter multiple lives forever and set off a chain of events that would span more than a decade. The attackers struck with precision, their target clear. Gunshots pierced the night air, shattering the quiet of the apartment complex.
Wow.
Edwina took a bullet to the chest, while her
Oh.
boyfriend, Daniel Hill, sustained multiple gunshot wounds. Neighbors who
So
heard
she-
the commotion
oh.
called 911, their frantic voices describing the chaos unfolding. When police arrived, they found both victims bleeding heavily. Emergency responders rushed them to the hospital, where doctors worked desperately to save their lives. The scene they left behind at Valley Crossing told a story of calculated violence. Bullet casings scattered across the floor, broken glass, and blood stains marking the path of the attack.
Why they ended
Two
up
sets of
attacking them though?
footprints led away from the scene, leaving detectives with their first solid leads in what would become one of Little Rock's
It
most
must sound
complex
It
cases.
sound personal.
After leaving Danny Brown Jr., Edwina found new happiness with 22-year-old Daniel Hill. Their relationship represented a fresh start, far from the complications of her past. Hill brought lightness to her life, supporting her as she built her business and cared for her children. Unlike her tumultuous history with Brown, friends described her connection with Hill as gentle and nurturing. Hill understood the delicate situation Edwina faced as a mother of 2 children whose father remained in the picture. He respected the boundaries this created while building his own bond with her kids. Their relationship bloomed despite these challenges, and Edwina began to envision a future free from the shadows of her past relationships. Those close to the couple noted how Hill encouraged Edwina's independence, celebrating her achievements at work and supporting her dreams of expanding her boutique. In the months they dated, Edwina seemed to rediscover her smile, sharing photos of happy moments with Hill on social media.
But it
Their
sound like
relationship, though relatively new, showed promise of something lasting. A partnership built on mutual respect and shared joy. No one could have predicted that their love story would end in bloodshed,
Sound
least
like
of all
destruction
Hill,
waiting
who
to
had no
happen.
connection to the violent world that was about to claim his life.
Oh,
Danny Brown
okay.
Jr.'s reaction to Edwina's new relationship revealed a dark possessiveness. Behind the scenes, he contacted 2 men, Ivor Gordon and Quentin Jones, to
Oh.
eliminate what he saw as a threat to his connection with Edwina. The plan took shape through secret meetings and phone calls, with Brown providing details about
Hold
Edwina
on.
and Hill's routines, particularly their visits to her mother's apartment. Police investigations later revealed that Brown supplied Gordon and Jones with crucial information: the layout of Valley Crossing apartments, Edwina's schedule, and when she would likely be with Hill.
So this was out just
Text
straight from
messages
jealousy.
recovered from the attackers' phones showed Brown's involvement in selecting the perfect moment to strike. He chose a time when Edwina's mother would be at work, ensuring minimal witnesses. The payment for this deadly service, $5,000, split between Gordon and Jones.
$2,500
The
they
most
doing this
chilling
shit for?
aspect emerged during the investigation. Brown specifically instructed the hitmen to eliminate Hill, but only wound Edwina. This calculated
What?
decision
And it
showed his
happened that
intent
way.
not just to remove his rival, but to regain control over Edwina's life. He believed that in her vulnerable state after the attack, she would turn to him for support and protection, never suspecting he was behind her trauma.
Oh, so
The
that was
bullets
his
that struck
ex.
Daniel Hill proved fatal. After taking multiple shots to his chest and abdomen, he fought for his life in the emergency room of University of Arkansas Medical Science Center. Despite the medical team's desperate efforts, Hill's injuries were too severe.
So that time out. Yo, this story getting good and good as it goes. So hold on. As I'm trying to figure out what's going on, how this is all connecting. So I'm guessing homie was her ex at first, then she ended up dating this guy. So he set up a plot to get him out the picture, wound her so she could come back to him.
He was pronounced dead at 9:47 p.m., just hours after the attack began. Hill's death devastated his family and sent shockwaves through Little Rock. A young man with no enemies, no criminal record, killed simply for loving the wrong person's ex-girlfriend. The medical examiner's report revealed the brutality of his final
And murder
moments.
is just from
3
jealousy,
shots
boy,
fired
not
at
from
close
nothing else.
range, giving him little chance of survival. His family gathered at the hospital, only to receive the news that would shatter their world forever.
Yo,
In the days following Hill's murder, his family shared stories of a man who lived with kindness and died protecting someone he loved. Witnesses later testified that in his final moments, Hill attempted to shield Edwina from the gunfire, an act of selfless courage that spoke to his character.
he's done. He's
His
burning
death
in
left
hell.
a void in
He's
many
finished.
lives. His parents lost their son, his siblings lost their brother,
But
and
not the-
Edwina
not the one
lost a
that
partner who
died.
had shown her what healthy love
The
could
jealous,
look
the
like.
jealous ex.
Just
and the other
14
two.
days after bullets tore through her chest, Edwina Martin made a decision that left investigators, friends, and family in disbelief. She stood before a minister and said, "I do" to Danny Brown Jr., the very man accused of planning her shooting and Daniel Hill's murder. The quiet courthouse ceremony happened without fanfare or celebration,
Yo,
witnessed only by a handful of people. Edwina wore a simple dress, the bandages from her gunshot
live
wound still
visibility
hidden
restricted.
beneath her
What does that
clothing.
mean?
The speed and timing of this marriage raised red flags among those closest to Edwina. Her mother, who had just weeks before helped tend to her daughter's gunshot wounds, couldn't comprehend this sudden union.
He's finished,
Friends who
y'all.
had supported her through the
Finished.
tragedy struggled to understand how she could marry a man suspected of trying to kill her. The detective handling Hill's murder case learned of the marriage through routine surveillance, the news landing like a bomb in the investigation room. Even the court clerk who processed their marriage license noted the strange atmosphere. A bride still recovering from near-fatal injuries, a groom under police suspicion, yet both signing their names with steady hands.
I don't
This
get it.
wasn't just an unexpected marriage. It was the beginning of a complex chain of events that would affect every aspect
Why would
of
she
the
do
murder
this?
investigation. The question
There's
everyone
no love
asked,
in his words that
why would a
serious.
woman marry someone linked to her attempted murder?
Word.
Experts in domestic violence patterns point to a
And he's
complex
linked to it.
mix
It's
of
not
fear,
like
trauma
his
bonding,
alleged
and
still,
survival
but
instinct.
he's linked to it.
For Edwina, the decision
it's
likely
on the
stemmed
papers.
from
It's on
multiple
papers.
pressures converging at once. As the mother of Brown's 2 children, she faced the challenge of maintaining family stability. The shared custody of Danny Thury and Danielle created an unbreakable link to Brown. One he potentially used to his advantage. Financial dependency played its part. With medical bills mounting from the shooting and 2 children to support, Edwina's vulnerability peaked. Brown positioned himself as a protector and provider during her recovery.
Oh, and those
A
are his
calculated
kids?
move that exploited her weakened state. Her isolation grew as friends struggled to understand her choices, inadvertently pushing her closer to Brown. The trauma of the shooting itself might have distorted her decision-making, creating a psychological state where returning to the familiar, even if dangerous, felt safer than facing an uncertain future alone. Most telling was Brown's behavior in the hospital during her recovery. He remained constantly
I ain't gonna lie, I call this a case of the Matrix. A case of the Matrix, brother. This is a case of the Matrix.
present, controlling who could visit, managing her care decisions, and establishing himself as her primary support system. This
It's like a
period of
Plato
intense
play.
vulnerability created a perfect storm where Brown could manipulate Edwina's fears and dependencies to his advantage. The marriage marked one point in a longer pattern of separations and reunions between Edwina and Brown. Before Daniel Hill entered the picture, Edwina had left Brown multiple times, each departure followed by passionate reconciliations. Friends recalled how Brown would appear at her workplace with gifts, make grand gestures of change, and promise a better future. Each time, the cycle repeated. Tension, separation, reconciliation, peace, then tension again. This pattern intensified after Hill's death. Brown crafted a narrative of redemption and protection. He portrayed himself as Edwina's shield against further violence, though he was its
She was
source.
living in
On
fear.
social media, they presented a united front. Their posts showed family outings, celebrations, and moments with their children. But close friends noticed Edwina's changing behavior. Her once active social life dwindled. Her vibrant personality dimmed. She stopped sharing personal struggles with longtime confidants. At church functions, Brown remained constantly at her side. What looked like devotion to outsiders felt more like surveillance to those who knew their history. When Edwina's business flourished, Brown inserted himself into its operations. Each success she achieved came with increased control from him, masked as support. The cycle continued, growing more intense with each turn until that final fatal day in 2023. The newlywed bliss lasted exactly 4 days. On a cold morning, police cruisers surrounded Brown's residence. The evidence investigators had gathered proved too substantial to ignore, despite Edwina's sudden marriage to their prime suspect. Detectives arrested Brown, charging him with capital murder for Daniel Hill's death and attempted capital murder for Edwina's shooting.
Oh, he ended up getting locked.
The arrest affidavit revealed detailed evidence. Phone records linking Brown to both Gordon and Jones, financial transactions showing money transfers, and witness statements placing him at meetings with the shooters. In custody, Brown maintained his innocence, claiming the marriage proved his love for Edwina. But investigators saw it differently. They viewed the hasty wedding as an attempt to prevent Edwina from testifying against him, as Arkansas law allows spouses to refuse to testify against each other. The arrest created an immediate crisis for Edwina. Now married to a man in jail for allegedly trying to kill her, she faced impossible choices. Her children's father sat in a cell while she recovered from wounds he supposedly ordered. The community watched as she navigated this nightmare. Her recent wedding ring, now a symbol of the twisted situation she found herself in. This unbelievable turn in Edwina's story raises so many questions about love, fear, and survival. What drives someone to marry the person accused of trying to kill them? If you have insights into domestic violence or similar cases, share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective can help others understand these complex situations better.
Shorty, I will kill you.
Has someone you know ever returned to a dangerous relationship? What warning signs did you notice? Let's create a supportive discussion in the comments section. Don't forget to hit that like button if you want to help raise awareness about domestic violence through stories like Edwina's.
Nobody can help her.
Subscribe to our channel for more in-depth true crime investigations that explore the human psychology behind these tragic cases. Your engagement helps us continue sharing these important stories that need to be told. By August 2012, the case against Danny Brown Jr. began to crumble. Despite strong initial evidence, the phone records, money transfers, and witness statements, prosecutors faced an insurmountable obstacle. Their key witness had become their greatest challenge. The district attorney's office found themselves in an impossible position. Without Edwina's testimony, the circumstantial evidence alone wouldn't secure a conviction. The case against Gordon and Jones proceeded differently. Gordon received a life sentence, while Jones accepted a plea deal, receiving 55 years for first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder. But Brown, the alleged mastermind, walked free.
Throw away the key.
The prosecution had to drop all charges against him, marking a frustrating end to months of investigative work.
She that fearful she could have just
Little
got
Rock's
her
legal community
murdered.
buzzed with discussions about the case's collapse. The investigators who had built the case against Brown watched helplessly as their work unraveled. Some officers maintained close contact with Edwina's family, concerned about what might follow. The dropped charges meant Brown returned home to Edwina, their marriage now legally unchallenged. The justice system, designed to protect victims, found itself powerless against a victim's choice to stand by her alleged attacker. Edwina's transformation from key witness to uncooperative participant stunned prosecutors. Court documents described her as becoming increasingly antagonistic toward their efforts to convict Brown. In meetings with the district attorney's office, she changed her story multiple times. Details she had previously provided with clarity became clouded with uncertainty. Her once precise timeline of events grew vague and contradictory. Behind closed doors, victim advocates tried to reach her. They recognized the signs: a victim protecting her abuser, fear masquerading as love. But Edwina maintained her stance. In official statements, she claimed her initial accusations against Brown came from confusion and trauma after the shooting. She insisted that their marriage proved his innocence, that he wouldn't have harmed her or Hill. The prosecution team watched helplessly as their strongest witness slipped away. Her medical records told one story, a brutal shooting that nearly claimed her life.
Have mercy on
Her
her
new statements
soul.
told another, one of miscommunication and misunderstanding. When questioned about the evidence linking Brown to Gordon and Jones, she offered alternative explanations or claimed no knowledge. Every attempt to secure her cooperation met with increasingly firm resistance, until finally, prosecutors had no choice but to accept their case had hit a dead end. From 2012 to 2023, Edwina and Danny Brown Jr. crafted an image of family restoration. Their social media accounts filled with carefully chosen moments, family gatherings, dance recitals, business celebrations.
That's crazy.
Edwina's bodacious beauty boutique flourished, with Brown often photographed at store events, portraying the supportive husband. They attended church together at Williams Temple, where Edwina shared daily devotionals online, speaking of faith and forgiveness. Their children, Danny III and Danielle, grew up watching this complex dynamic unfold. Edwina threw herself into their activities, coaching Danielle's dance team and celebrating every milestone. In 2020, she secured a position at Blue Cross Blue Shield, adding corporate stability to their family
And
income.
she getting money.
Brown remained a constant presence, involved in both the business and family decisions.
Brown.
But those closest to
Brown just
Edwina
eating.
noticed subtle changes. Her once frequent gatherings with friends became rare. Phone calls grew shorter, often ending abruptly if Brown entered the room. Her vibrant personality seemed muted in his presence, her natural warmth dimming when he was near. While she maintained her public roles, mother, business owner, dance coach, something had shifted. The woman who once lit up rooms with her smile now seemed to calculate every word, every move, every decision. Despite their curated social media presence, cracks in their relationship surfaced regularly. Neighbors reported frequent arguments echoing from their Fairley Drive home. At public events, friends noticed Brown's controlling behavior, monitoring Edwina's conversations, checking her phone, deciding who she could speak with.
For real.
Her once independent business decisions now required his approval.
Yeah, fact.
Even more telling were Edwina's brief disappearances from social media, followed by returns with posts
taking off
about
at the top of
working
every
through
dollar she
challenges and staying strong in faith.
You get PC tax.
In early March 2023, changes in Edwina's
Crazy.
behavior caught the attention of those closest to her. She began quietly reaching out to domestic violence resources, making careful phone calls during her lunch breaks at Blue Cross Blue Shield. Her sister noticed extra clothes missing from her closet, a subtle sign she might have been planning an escape. At dance practice, she confided in another coach about feeling unsafe at home. The week before March 27th, Edwina took steps toward independence. She opened a separate bank account, something Brown discovered through their shared phone plan's notifications.
Amazing.
She also spoke with her children about staying with their aunt temporarily. Her social media activity shifted. She removed Brown from several photos and stopped sharing their location on posts.
Now you want to make.
The
Now you
final
want to try
red
to do
flag
something.
came when she called her mother, asking to store important documents at her house. These seemingly small actions represented huge steps toward freedom. But Brown noticed these changes too. Neighbors reported increased tension at the Fairley Drive
Now you
home,
want to do something
with
about
Brown's
it.
car coming and going at unusual hours. March 27, 2023, began as a typical Monday. Edwina went to work at Blue Cross Blue Shield, handled customer calls, and shared lunch with colleagues. Security cameras caught her final exit from the building at 3:30 p.m. She texted her daughter about dinner plans and headed home to Fairley Drive. What happened next was pieced together from neighbor statements and crime scene evidence. At 4 p.m., the quiet afternoon shattered with gunshots.
Yo.
Unlike the 2012 attack where Brown hired others, this
Did it
time
himself.
he allegedly confronted Edwina directly. Multiple gunshots rang out inside their home. A neighbor's security camera captured Brown's car, leaving the scene minutes later.
Madness.
Inside, Edwina lay critically wounded in their living room, her phone just inches from her outstretched hand, screen displaying an unfinished 911 call. Emergency responders found her fighting for life.
No.
But this time, her injuries proved fatal. At the
Yeah.
University of Arkansas Medical Science Center, doctors pronounced her dead at 5:17 p.m., ending an 11-year cycle of control and violence. Little Rock Police Department's response was swift after multiple 911 calls reported gunshots at 4704 Fairley Drive. First responders arrived within minutes,
Madness,
securing the
boy.
scene while paramedics rushed Edwina to the hospital.
Madness.
Inside the home, detectives found signs of a confrontation, overturned furniture in the living room, Edwina's broken phone, and shell casings scattered across the floor. The investigation moved quickly, focusing immediately on Danny Brown Jr. His
Yeah,
recent
quick,
behavior
quick.
had raised concerns.
They was waiting for him.
Neighbors
They knew he was
reported
gonna
seeing
slip
his
up
car
again.
circle the block multiple times that
Matter of
morning,
time.
suggesting premeditation. Security footage from nearby homes captured his arrival and hasty departure. Inside the house, investigators discovered a notepad with Edwina's handwriting, listing domestic violence hotlines and shelter addresses. Her work computer revealed searches for divorce lawyers and women's shelters, dating back several weeks. Most telling were text messages to her sister expressing fear about Brown's increasingly control.
Everything's fine. I mean, it's not. I'm not gonna blame her for her abuser. You know what I'm saying? But why now? Why you decide to do these things now, Queen? When you know it's too late, you should have been locked his ass up when you had the chance. You set your own killer free. Yeah.
Controlling behavior. A search of Brown's vehicle
Madness.
found abandoned at his brother's house yielded the suspected murder weapon and Edwina's purse, still containing her work ID. For 21 days, Danny Brown Jr. evaded capture, triggering a
21 days.
multi-state manhunt.
Oh yeah, they was on him.
Law
Oh.
enforcement finally located him on April 17, 2023, hiding in a motel just outside Memphis, Tennessee. U.S. Marshals found him with a
Arkansas?
packed bag, fake
How far is
ID,
Tennessee
and
from
over
Arkansas?
$3,000 in cash, suggesting
took-
plans to flee further.
Yeah, he took
His
that
arrest
money.
was swift and without incident.
how they
Prosecutors
found
charged
him.
Brown with capital murder, adding weapons charges and fleeing justice to the indictment. Unlike 2012, this time they had surveillance footage, forensic evidence, and a solid timeline of events.
They got him this time.
The district attorney's office pushed for the death penalty, citing the 2012
deserved
case
that.
as evidence of a
lie.
long-term pattern of violence.
Get him out
In
of here.
custody, Brown
He's a
maintained
menace to
his
society.
innocence, claiming Edwina's death was accidental during an argument.
Yeah, alright.
But evidence told a different story. The multiple gunshot
It's
wounds,
cold-blooded.
his immediate flight from the scene,
Yeah.
and the planned nature of the attack all
And
pointed
fleeing.
to premeditated murder. His bail request was denied, with the judge citing his previous history and flight risk.
Yeah, he's a
The
flight
case
risk.
moved toward trial, promising a final chapter in a story that spanned more than a decade of violence.
Amazing.
In the wake of Edwina's death, Little Rock's community transformed grief into action. Her dance students performed a tribute at what would have been her next competition, wearing purple ribbons, the color of domestic violence awareness. The Bodacious Beauty Boutique's final collection became a memorial, with proceeds directed to local women's shelters. Her colleagues at
I
Blue
ain't gonna
Cross
hold
Blue
you.
Shield established a
Men are
scholarship
weak, bro.
fund for children affected by
These
domestic
stories, all it
violence,
shows is weak
naming
men,
it
bro.
Edwina's Light. Beyond Little Rock, Edwina's story sparked crucial conversations about domestic violence's complex nature.
Men need to
Her
return
case
back
highlighted
home.
how victims often return to
Men are
abusers,
weak.
not from weakness, but from complex psychological and practical pressures. Law enforcement agencies across Arkansas revised their training protocols, incorporating lessons learned from the 11 years between the first attack and the final tragedy. Edwina's story is more than just a true crime case. It's a wake-up call about domestic violence in our communities. If this video has impacted you, please consider sharing it. Your share could reach someone who needs to hear this story.
Yo, I ain't gonna hold you. Let's have a moment of silence, man. For that young queen that lost her life. Amen. Yo, I ain't gonna hold you. These videos, man, all it shows is a whole bunch of weak men, bro. Men are weak, bro. Men are weak. Men are weak. Men need rebuilding, renovation. Especially us black men, bro. Weak. All I see sometimes, most of these videos that I find, and it's true. It's true. It's true. Men are weak. Men are weak. Men is failing this world. I'm not saying, you know what I mean, women are quarrelsome. Women do provoke. Women do a lot of things. But men are weak. We are weak to the flesh. Men are weak. Men need to wake the up. I'm not gonna curse cause but I really want to, man, cause it's sad. Man weak, bro. It's dangerous out here, man. Domestic DV is never cool. No matter what, and no matter how a woman provoke a man, DV is never acceptable, bro. On no face, no place of the earth. Men are weak to the flesh. Men are weak spiritually, mentally, physically, financially. Men are weak, bro. Men is weak, bro, and they need to get it together. Cause if they don't, we're gonna have a lot more stories like this. And I'm just listen. I'm reacting to it, man. I don't care. I'm reacting to these videos, and I'm gonna keep reacting to it till my face turn blue. Until that man above God tell me stop reacting to it, cause I have to react to it. I got to. Men are weak. They're dangerously weak too. Dangerously weak. They're so weak that they're dangerous. Man, sit down and meditate, man. Work on yourself. Build your own brand. Build your own legacy. Build your own shit. Stop worrying about women, bro. Stop worrying about what they got. Stop trying to leech off of them. Weak ass. Yo, these niggas. Yo, that shit. When I see stuff like this, bro, it really bothers me to the core. It don't affect me, my life, you know what I'm saying? Right now, after I finish with this, we gotta go get some lunch. I'm gonna do some, after that lunch, we're gonna do another set, another workout session. We gonna live, you feel me? But when I see these stories, bro, it bothers me. It hits home a little bit, man. You know what I'm saying? It touches a place in my heart. You know what I mean? For the victims and the victimizers, man. Because it just shows, because these are the people. He just like, I'm him, he me. Like, we just the same. Especially the same color too, the same race. I mean, one and the same. You know what I'm saying? Just that we ain't the same. You get me? Because I ain't weak. I overcame. And I know a lot of men could too, but what I see is a bunch of weak men, bro. Men are weak. They have no discipline. They have no order, no construction, no direction, no purpose. Just weak. Y'all weak asses out of here, man. Excuse my language. But for real, man. But yo, man, tap in, man. Next video, man. If y'all like these videos, if y'all got some ideas for me, put it in the comment, man. Help me build this community. This Etherverse TV. Tap into your ether. And live with love, man. Be out.